I guess as they say, after you get 50, your eyes go bad. So don't mind me putting on these specs, these glasses. But I am your Shelby County Register of Deeds, Shelandra Watt Ford. I'm the Register of Deeds for Shelby County. Our office really is the legal record keeper for your titles, your mortgages, your quitclaim deeds. And today I'm here to talk about fraudulent deed filing within Shelby County. It is a critical issue that widespread, not just in Shelby County, but in Tennessee as a whole. And I'm here to discuss some things that we have in place at the registrar's office to protect our citizens from becoming victims. So with that in a nutshell, I did bring, my team and we did bring a PowerPoint presentation to go over with you, but we did also we will leave you with brochures from the registrar's office. This is one in the newest program. It's been out for about a year. It's our Property Fraud Alert program. And this is very critical that if you are a real estate broker agent, it is very critical that you introduce this to your clients. This is a home saver. And I mean, it really has saved a lot of your clients from being victimized of fraudulent deed filings. Just explain how this occurs. With the registrar's office, we have quitclaim deeds. We have about 15 to 1,600 legal documents that come into our office daily. We are responsible for recording that instrument. And if that instrument meets the legal qualification, and the legal qualification is stated in our statute, that if they meet the legal qualification, and that is that the document is properly notarized and it's legible, we have to actually record that instrument, and we cannot ask questions. If it meets those qualifications, we have the duties to record that instrument. And what's happening with the registrar's office in most counties throughout Tennessee, you have mom and pop companies, or you have individuals that have family members that has passed away, and you have siblings that's come in that has left another sibling off the quitclaim deed. But we as the registrar office, we don't know that up front. Again, we are there to record that instrument on a day-to-day basis. And with revenue that we generate and business, real estate business is booming. We are now, like I said, processing anywhere from 15 to 1,600 deeds a day. Instruments a day. So our office is very busy. But what we have put in place, me as your registrar, I have put in place a Property Fraud Alert program. This is a free program that's offered to the citizens. And it's simple process to register for the program. You can either register online, you can either call our office at 901-222-8100. You can call our local office and one of our representatives will walk you through the process. But we have now created a user-friendly website. If most of you are real estate brokers, real estate agents, you know that we have a user-friendly website. And I guess we can go ahead and—
You want to share the screen? Okay.
Yes.
I'll do that. Let's see.
But while she's getting that ready, we do have a user-friendly website. And with a click of a button, we have a friendly icon that says Property Fraud Alert Program, and you'll have to record it. I think you jumped ahead. You can go backwards.
Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to move it. I think they are seeing your opening screen. Unfortunately, it says screen sharing, so they're seeing this, I think.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and walk you through the process. It's a simple process. And Vincent, my administrator, will go through the process of registering your clients or registering yourself for the program. And it's simple. You can register a business with this program as well. Go to the
That's after they click the icon.
Okay.
So once you click the icon that says Free Property Fraud Alert Program, it'll bring you to this screen. You have a disclosure that you must read and you must agree to. Once you agree to the program, then all you need to do is enter your name, your first name, last name, and your email address. And the email address, you need to enter one that allows you to get requests as quickly as possible. And what this does, it gives you a notification. It triggers the system if someone pulls up the data in your pulls up your information or obtain any type of information or place a lien on your property. This information will notify you. It will trigger the account and it will notify you via email that you provided. And this is just one simple step that we have in place. And we have
it's the podcast.
We have registered over thousands of homeowners for this program. Just most recently, we were in Africa in April. Past weekend, we were able to register about 175 homeowners, and they stopped at our booth and they registered for this program. And again, it's offered to citizens free. A lot of these programs are out here. They charge you anywhere from $100 or $200 a month. But we are offering this program free through the registrar's office. We are able to do so because of we are a revenue generated office. And today, kudos to my staff, we have met our margins. Since I've been in office, we've met our exceeded our margins. And what I mean is we are revenue generated. That means our office is not ran by taxpayer dollars. It's ran by the citizens for the business that you bring to the office. And that keeps our office running. So this month, in told that we are past our $4.5 million margin. And we have also turned in roughly $700 of free surplus monies. But this money is to afford us to be able to offer free programs to our citizens of Shelby County. I just wanted to share that with you.
I was going to ask a question about, sometimes on the radio we hear some of the folks say about this home fraud game.
Yes.
Do they have the same type of method of contacting? Just email you? Was that the same thing? But do you guys do the same thing? So it's no need to actually take a policy out on that.
Right. You don't have to take a policy out on it. This is just, like I said, it's a simple process. Just registered through the registrar's office, and like I said, it is free. But they do have other programs out there, and we're not affiliated with it. But this program is governed by our office. So we will be the first to know if someone places a lien on your property, whether it's a mechanical lien or whether it's a personal lien. We will be the first to know. But you would get a notification if anyone alters or try to obtain information.
Thank you.
And this is actually a letter. I am also spearheading to change to amend some of the statutes. Right now, it's a Class E felony if you are caught filing a fraudulent deed within Shelby County. And for most of you that don't know, that I come from, my previous background is a principal court clerk. I've been with county government for over 24 years, but before I became the registrar, I sat side by side most of our judges, and we, deliberated a lot of those cases. So with that being said, I am spearheading also a project statewide. I was able to visit your state 3 weeks ago, and I proposed to have the statute amended to a stiffer penalty, which is a Class D felony. And I was able to also give a testimony on the Tennessee House level. I gave a testimony, and after my testimony, I was able to get the support of most of our Tennessee legislators, and it passed it did go forward and pass the Criminal Justice Forum House, and now we're just waiting on it to pass the entire Tennessee Legislative House floor. So this is something that we have pending, but just to know that your registrar's office is working diligently in getting these criminals punished in the manner that they should be punished. And we're also asking to add a $5,000 provision for any cases that may occur. So that means the $5,000 may help for any legal fees that the victims have incurred.
We have a question on Zoom.
Yes.
Mr. Ruhlman.
Mr. Ruhlman, Mark Ruhlman.
Yes, thank you very much. You know, I was at the financial planning conference last week, and this was mentioned. And then on Sunday morning, see the ad on TV. And Joe, I want to thank you for giving this timely advice to us. One of the things that you said, Madam Trustee, is that properly executed, we're not checking notary signatures. Why don't we up the fee to say $100 from $10 and do some checking to protect our citizenry? Thank you. And thank you for this service.
Thank you. To piggyback on the information or the question that he's asking, we do have a team and we do check those notary sealed. So those documents are already notarized when they come into our office, and we do check that via database. So when we do get those instruments, they are already properly notarized. So we don't have a second step in place to check notary because they are already notarized. We don't have a notary in our department because it will be conflict of interest to have a notary on staff, on hand. So those instruments already come notarized and they are checked. They are checked by our deed processing clerk. Then they are checked again, finally, through the management team and the administrators. So we do really check those documents to make sure that they meet the minimum requirements, state requirements in the state statute.
Quick question before. How you
Yes.
doing?
Great.
Thank
Hi.
you, and
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you to serve with you. With your staff and everything. I am a notary.
Thank you.
I do face them kind of difficult issue with family, and
Yes.
thank you, your staff, and I come down there to have questions and ask questions. Y'all were good to lead me in the right direction, keeping me from getting in a position. What Mark was saying that there was some paperwork. I worked with them and I told them that I cannot notarize these paperwork costs. There was an illegal document, need more proof. You have to have an attorney to put that together, then I can be able to notarize it. And I want to thank you so very much for everything you've done.
Thank you.
There. I really do.
Thank you. And what we're doing also is we were working on having a legal team available for the registrar's office to help as a support for some of these cases. And that was pending, that's pending as well. But again, we are proposing to have the laws amended and updated. We're proposing to amend the laws to a Class D, a stiffer penalty, which is a Class D felony. And that gives a stiffer penalty, stiffer jail sentence to the criminals. And we want to also add a provision that we would be able to ask for identification. Right now, under the statute, we're not at liberty to ask for any ID when they bring them in because they've already met the requirements. But what I'm proposing in the bill, the amended bill, is to be able to set some perimeters in place for us to be able to ask for identification. And a lot of people think that you can just do this with a snap of the finger, and it's not true. you have to get it approved whatever the statute states with Tennessee and for Shelby County, we have to abide by those rules. In order for us to change it, we have to get the approval through the Tennessee Legislative House. So we are working diligently with our Senator Sarah Kyles and also your state representative, G.A. Hardaway, in this matter.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I was just wondering, there's documents, the volume of documents that you have processed. There are sometimes red flags. You have repeat offenders. What happens with those that might conform to that legal definition of properly notifies and legible, but you know that you've seen this before and this is a red flag and we think this is a fraud? What happens with those?
We actually notify the management team actually note the system if there is several coming, if there is attempt or if there is something that's suspicious, they do have the liberty to notate our system. But again, we would have to still process that document accordingly.
So there's nothing in place where, because you get, when you do that stuff, you just, something's not right about this.
Right.
And so there's not an investigative method that you can do some more checking before that deed is filed or even notify the current owner or any of that stuff.
There's nothing in place.
Okay, that's scary.
Yes.
Just a quick thing, for those that are not really great at law, what's the difference between Class C and Class D, if I remember right?
Yeah, the Class C felony is almost like a misdemeanor. You get anywhere from 2 to 3 years imprisonment, but the Class D felony is more of a stiffer penalty, and it's anywhere from 10 to 12 years if caught filing the fraudulent deed. So that is our goal, is to request a stiffer penalty and be able to put some provisions in place. And for me, I would like to see us be able to have more control in the registrar's office. But like I said, it doesn't happen with the click of with the snap of the finger. You do have to get the final approval through the state legislative house and also through our county commissioners, which I have met closely with quite a few of them. And we are working on this diligently. We do also have housing forums that we host monthly, and we talk about the issue and we address these issues. But just know that our office is working to end the fraudulent deed filing for Shelby County. And what I would like to see, as the gentleman stated earlier, that I would like to see, I'm hoping that we'd be able to stop the quit claim deeds. That's what I would like to see, for us to be able to stop the quit claim deeds and allow any persons that have these deeds, quit claim deeds, to be able to have them prepared by a legal team, an attorney. And this would probably prevent a lot of things from happening. But they do have the options right now, based on the statute, that they can bring these documents into the office already properly notarized, and they do have to legally be recorded.
I just add something there on the quit claims. We do try to tell people, and if you ever run into this situation with your clients, your home being the most valuable possession you'll probably ever own, get an attorney to draft a quit claim. Don't do it yourself. And the same thing goes for the affidavit of heirships. They come in, they file them. Yeah. They're not right. The assessor doesn't pick it up as a change of property ownership, and they're right back at our office having to do it all over again. It's a waste of their time and our time. Do your clients a favor, tell them to get legal representation for filing these types of documents.
Quick question. I agree with saying, just like I was talking about that customer, they came that the parent had passed, but his brother and this it just, they want to go ahead on and take the land and put a trailer house on it. And I told him, I cannot do this here because there's a lot of illegal stuff here. Right. And I said, and then called, I do have you on my phone where I looked up there and hit it, and I called and asked a question. I thank for y'all doing that. And I told them, I cannot help you. And he got a little angry about it, say, well, y'all know we're about to sign this, sir. I said, hey, I took an oath. I said, I'm not going to jail for you. So I said, you might leave my office, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
And we are not there to provide any legal assistance. Right. We can't do, I mean, like you said, our office cannot provide any legal assistance. Right. Even if they become a victim of fraudulent deed filing, they do have to contact your local DA office and file those claims through the local DA office.
Yeah. Shelanda, how are they doing prosecuting them?
Very slow again, since it is almost like a misdemeanor. They're not being handled, through our local DA office at this time, because they said they have more cases that meets priority other than the Class E felony cases. So I have also piggybacked and reached out to our federal DA office, and I was able to talk with Mr. Murphy, and he sat in on our last forum, and he advised us if we have any critical cases to actually forward those to his office for immediately assistance. And again, we are collaborating with a legal team to make sure that our clients are being well supported and well secured with these fraudulent deed claims.
I'm sorry.
No, once say fraud is detected, is it a simplified issue to undo?
No, it's not, because they would have to, if they become a victim of fraudulent deed filing, again, they would have to obtain the information, their original information from our registrar's office. Then they would have to file the claim with our probate, get it heard in probate court. So they would have to prove that they're the rightful owner. And it costs the homeowners thousands of dollars. It costs, time and effort to be able to reverse this, because once those instruments are recorded, we cannot back those out of the system without a legal, legal statement from a judge.
Could that homeowner do the same thing and come down and have it recorded that they're claiming it back over to themselves?
No, that actually clouds the case itself. So if they are a victim, they do need to report that to the local DA office, because these criminals need to be caught and they need to be brought forth. And what we've seen is some of our notaries, they are sufficient notaries, but they are doing it. They're friends of the family, or they maybe someone that they know, and they're able to get away with this because you have legal notaries out here that are creating this issue, and they are part of the problem, that they are legal notary for the state of Tennessee, but they are not holding integrity with those notary license. And again, we cannot we cannot look at or kind of protect every deed that come into the office. We do look at them. Like I said, we do have a team. Fred Beckham, he's one of our management team. He's been with the registrar's office 23 years. We do have skilled workers. A lot of my deeds processing clerks, they've been with the registrar's office from anywhere from 15 to 20 years. So they do know what they're doing, and they know when those documents come in. But the thing about it, again, is those documents are coming in legible. So it's not like your registrar's office is just allowing this to happen. We have to get these laws changed, like I said, statewide. And I've been on the road. If you ask, I've been on the road recently back and forth to Nashville fighting this issue on a state level. And if you want to, we do have the last testimony I was able to give on the House floor. We do have that available. It's House Bill 2810. If any of you would like to pull it up, and you can actually hear my testimony, and you can hear the kudos that a lot of state representatives and officials gave Shelby County, because they're saying this is happening all over the state of Tennessee, but I am the very first registered to bring it forth and say, hey, it's got to stop. And this is what we are proposing. So I am the very first county register to step out and ask that we amend some of these laws and ask for a stiffer punishment and put other provisions in place.
So with the emails that you collected, things like that, so people are signing up for the program, that means they're interested in it. Can you not use those emails to send out general emails that say, okay, you're interested in protecting your property, so are we. House Bill 2810 is coming up for a vote. I urge you to contact your representatives with these bullet points.
Actually, I don't think we can, because the state has ruled that these listings are confidential. So unless they agree to it on the front end, we can't use it for anything other than just notification that something's been filed.
So can you
because that's
modify
almost like soliciting. We can't solicit. Once they sign up for this program, it's actually personal. So we don't see the names per se. We don't see the data. It goes into a database. And we don't really see the actual owners. We can see the numbers, but we don't see the applicants' names that sign up for this.
But can you modify that and have a second request and agreement? Are you interested in these things? Would you be interested in supporting for us to be able to prosecute, change laws or anything like that? Have a second, because that would be a basic.
Yeah, if they sign off on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, because what you're fighting is by yourself and your group of people versus fighting with, you know, the constituents you're going to have. And you said most of those senators agree. What about the rest of them?
All of them agree. If you look at the bill, if you go look at the actual testimony, once I completed the testimony, everybody that was on the House floor of the Criminal Justice Forum, they signed off on that bill. So if you can just take a look at it, it's about a 15-minute testimony. But before we left there, all of the ones that were on bench, they did agree and sponsor the bill. So it's pending. We do have to take it before House legislation. And I don't know if that will be heard. I do have about 3.5 more months in office. So I hope that whoever takes place of the registrar's office continues it. And I will leave that information available.
Quick question here. What you're saying is very true. I was up there with Trey Harris that over know there cause. This is what I'm looking at here is that coming down in Shelby County is that we got so many people out here getting nowhere. Because I was at the office the other day, you know, because I'm licensed with the city and the county, you know, stuff to do business. But the guy, you know, I'm gonna call him names, but he said simply to me, he said, we have just issued over 300 notices. What's going on? I said, man, I'm afraid that once Bill Lee, Marshall, them get involved, what you're saying is gonna change this here. This nobody business gonna change. That you're gonna have to be very, very professional and careful. What you're saying, I seen your video, everything, because I was up there, and what you're doing, and I support it, and you know, I love what I do. I'm a paralegal, and I've been in this business for 20 years. And so what you're doing is they're protecting the one who want to do right.
Yes.
And I appreciate it.
Thank you.
When you spoke previously, you mentioned that people were being evicted from their homes because of this false process. There's nothing that can be done to offset that.
Well, they, again, if they become a victim, they would immediately have to do their due diligence, and they have to file this with, again, our State Department. I mean, excuse me, your local DA office, district attorney office immediately. And for the ones that may have reached eviction, that means that they just let it settle and they hadn't really obtained any attorneys or legal representation. And again, with the registrar's office, I am proposing that since we are revenue generated and we do have extra surplus, I was hoping to hire a legal team to assist us. But again, that is in the working as well, that we were just about speaking with a couple of legal attorneys to come aboard. So with that.
I was gonna make a statement. I actually host Real Estate Mortgage Shop on WREC every Saturday morning. We had a couple of attorneys back in 2020 who are actually trying to help people who had their properties taken from them. And at that time, they said that the common denominator was that a lot of those quitclaim deeds were handwritten, misspellings, a lot of things like that. I think from what you just said, Shelandra, now they've become more sophisticated.
Yes.
But back in 2020, that was the common denominator. And the cost just to try to start the process of getting the house back was over $5,000 for some of these homeowners. They said that at that time, and I was going to ask you if you could speak to this because I know they are evolving, but in 2020, the targets were vacant investment property.
Yes.
And they would go in there as soon as they saw that it was vacant, like on Craigslist or, you know, what ads and things like that, they would go in and take, do the false quitclaim deed and immediately send a renovation crew out to the house, so they would have that extra layer of possession of the property. So and I don't know if that's evolved.
And that is actually, if you hear what she just said, that's actually a criminal attempt, is theft of property. Whether it's a car, whether it's a home, it's theft of property. And we have to hold our local DA office accountable, not your registrar's office. We're there to, like I said, provide services. But far as prosecuting these cases, we have to hold our local DA office accountable for these things. And if we know that the laws and the provisions need to be put in place, we need to do our due diligence and have these laws change it, have these laws amended to a stiffer penalty. If you know that the Class E felony is just not enough to prosecute these cases, then you should be looking at, again, proposing a stiffer bill, such as the Class D felony. But our office is the first office to actually initiate these processes. And we have, like I said, things pending. We are supposed to meet with the House legislator, and hopefully within the next 3 months, I hope that they do give us a phone call. And again, I will be on the road to Nashville because this is dear to my heart. You know, it did happen to someone in our office, you know, to their relative, but it could be my family, it could be me. So I take this seriously, and we are fighting this issue. But just know it's not just the registrar's office. It's got to be changed locally. I mean, it has to be changed on a state level, because if we have every citizen have a right to file those quitclaim deeds as the statute of Tennessee state. So if we deny those, if they do meet the minimum qualifications and we deny those, we are at liberty for a lawsuit. So again, this matter, we do house forums. We're just able to speak with a group of CRY-like. We do go out to different real estate companies and we educate the public. We do go out, we have outreach team. We bring out our brochures and we educate the public. We educate groups such as yourself, and we let you know that, hey, this is a serious issue, and please allow your clients to sign up for this free program. And we also, and then excuse me, with closing, we also assist, you know, over the phone. We have a lot of clients that's calling me in and they're registering for the free program over the phone. So it is available for Shelby County. This is the initial step, but again, it needs to be handled on a more state legislative level to stop these criminals from being able to fraudulently file these deeds. And like the gentleman stated before, it's over 300 notaries. We don't, and that's the clerk office. We're two different entities. So maybe something has to be set, another provision has to be set in place with allowing them to obtain these licenses to be able to notarize. That's another issue that's outside, you know, our parameter. But I just want you to know that we are working, my team is working diligently to educate the public, to educate our citizens. And now what we do for the last few months, for the last year, we do send out a welcome package. So as the real estate agents sell their homes, we do send out this information to new homeowners. So they're able to know, we do send a welcome letter to new homeowners, and we do send out these brochures, and we invite them to register for this free program.